I don't know what sort of crack you're on if you think you want to charge $700 for an alternator, but it must be some good crack, because that is just, no, that's, and you're a cunt. Yes, sir, you are a cunt. Hello, and welcome to an episode of American Truck Simulator. In this episode, we're going to be taking a load from here in, okay, that's a lot of grinding, because I accidentally had it in gear. Anyway, we're going to be taking a load from here in Fresno all the way up, well, not really all the way, because it's not really a very far distance, is it? But anyway, we're going to be taking a load from here up to San Francisco. And this is just going to be somewhat of a normal load because, I mean, it's been a while since I played the game, so I'm not going to get into playing the game with a big, huge, ginormous trailer. And also, I'd rather just talk instead of having to focus on the trailer like 24/7. Let's pull in here. Wait, so I pull in at the other side, okay. Yep. Let's see if I can get these shifts down. Nope, that was a horrible shift. Including that one. I think I'm gonna go with this trailer. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty light. It's only 20,000 pounds. Which really is pretty much nothing for this truck. So I'm just gonna back this truck in here. I'm curious if I'll get this on the first try, but knowing my luck, it won't. Although, it's looking kind of promising. No, that's not going to go in, so I'm going to actually pull forward a little bit. This is still my first try because I haven't actually gone all the way back yet. And if we look over there, it looks pretty good. And is it going to go in? Perfect. Here we have basic trailer. And for the time that I'm in here, I'm going to lower that axle there, so that I can have a little bit better maneuverability. And we can take off here. Gotta back up here because I don't have enough room to turn. Is that enough room? That should be good, yeah. Okay. This game, you know, you don't really, you gotta have something planned to talk about before you actually play the game. And I don't at the moment, so I'm just gonna go with whatever. Okay, speed limit through this little area is 55. There we go, good shift. So recently I've been doing a lot of baking. Now, the funny thing is that I went from basically not knowing how to cook at all to baking pretty much anything I really want to. I think it's just because I know how to follow instructions, that's what it is. I'm okay at certain things, except for other things. Like, recently I made a chocolate cake for the first time, and it did not turn out that great. I mean, everything was good, but basically the cake, it tasted really good, but it looked very horrible. I mean, it was cooked properly and everything, but the cake just, it wasn't very presentable. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but, you know, if someone saw it, they wouldn't think that you were a very good baker or something like that, which I'm not saying I'm great. I'm just saying I'm okay at baking. Now they're out onto the highway. This trailer pretty much feels like nothing. So it's going to be actually a little bit hard not to be going way over the speed limit. But we'll try. So I've recently been considering doing some sort of upgrade on my computer. Like, I mean, I did do an upgrade on it last Christmas when I got a RTX 2070, but now I'm starting to think, you know, maybe I should get a new CPU because, I mean, even though it is a very good CPU, it's not really the best. And am I going to have to sleep on this very short trip? I really hope not. Because my character just went, 4 hours to over there, and our next rest stop is in 2. So that is actually quite annoying. I should have checked that out before I started playing this game. Whatever. Now, just for shits and giggles, let's rev the tits off the engine a little bit. I want to listen to this thing. Let's go to the outside. Yeah, now let's slow it down before I get a speeding ticket, because that's going to be kind of likely. going, well, about 70 and a 60. So last night I was at a friend's house, and I drank some of one of my friend's Snapple, just to, I mean, obviously they were gonna get mad at me, so I just was like, let's see what happens here. So I drink it, and then let's just say I had a pizza thrown at me. Yeah. Now what's happening here on the road? Anything? No, but actually, last night for me, like, I had a really good time with friends. It's been a while since I've actually been, like, well, now that I think about it, it has not been a while since I've been at a friend's house. Because last week I was at a friend's house one time, and then... But anyway, besides that, I haven't really been at a friend's house or done a lot with friends recently. And just now, you know, I've started to do a lot with friends. Like, I've been going to my friends' houses a lot, and we're getting off the road here. But anyway, long story short, I had a lot of fun. And we had a bonfire. So I was bored, and if I can find the video, I will put it in here into this American Truck Simulator episode. Okay, have you got some pizza? Just like that. And then yeah, it gets caught. Ah. But anyway, I was bored and we had a bonfire. So I'm like, wait, we have pizza and it's, you know, it's not really hot, it's kind of cold. So why don't I try to roast me a pizza? So I did. And then I ate it. And it tasted like fire. I wonder why. But that was a pretty fun experience. And that was a horrible shift. And I'm going to lift up this axle here. And I know I'm jumping around a little bit in this episode, but anyway. Back to the computer. The processor that I have is an Intel i7 7700. Yeah, that's my processor. And I've been considering upgrading it because, like, in games such as BeamNG Drive, it's just, you know, it's not really graphics orientated as much as it is CPU demanding, because the CPU has to do all the things with the physics and all that junk. And the funny thing is that I spent quite a lot of money. I mean, obviously there's a lot more expensive graphics cards out there, but I spent a good decent amount of money on this graphics card, so I wanted to perform, you know, better in my games. And why am I going 40 and a 55? Because I'm an imbecile. Yeah, anyway, so I was expecting to get, you know, a good amount of more frames in most of my games, and I did, like, in games like American Truck Simulator, which is graphics demanding more than it is CPU demanding. And in BeamNG Drive, my frame rate did not go up basically at all, is what I saw. My computer is an Alienware Aurora. Now, I don't really like having a pre-built computer for the reasons that, well, it's pre-built, it's not as high quality as you would get from, like, if you built it yourself. If you built it yourself, you'd probably get a better quality. Just in general, everything in your computer would be a little bit higher quality. And with it being pre-built, it's just a little bit, not necessarily overpriced. I mean, it is a bit. I got like $400 warranty on the thing, which is going to be over in about like half a year in April. And you're a cunt. Yes, sir. You are a cunt. And I realize it's a double yellow, but if he's going to be a cunt, I'm going to be a cunt to the AI. There we go. I wouldn't expect there to really be any cops on this road, so I'll pick my speed up a little bit. Yeah, I know, my character's getting tired. Shut up. I'm about 10 over right now. Nothing too excessive, at least. And I've had this computer for 3 years already, which really surprised me. I thought, like, you know, after 2 years so I'd be really bored of the performance of it. I mean, I was, because I got a new graphics card. But besides that, you know, it's been a good computer. Obviously, I would have much rather built it myself. The thing is, though, is that when I bought it, I really didn't know how to build a computer myself because, well, let's be fair, I was about to be in 6th grade when I got this computer. So, I mean, I didn't actually trust myself with building a computer. But I can almost guarantee you that now I would much rather build my own computer. Thing is though, recently I've been not necessarily even recently, like for the past year or so, I've been much more interested in cars than I have been in computers. And I've just been learning more and more and more about cars until the point where it's just like stupid the amount of stuff I know about cars. I mean, what I'm also planning to do is get into more of the engineering aspect of cars. I'm not going to be an engineer, trust me on that. I do not want to be a car engineer. I want to be a car mechanic. But I want to know how to just do, you know, what people call very boring things about cars, like, I don't know, calculating the theoretical top speed of a car, like what Engineering Explains YouTube channel does. It involves quite a lot. God, am I still drunk? No, I don't think so, because I'm recording this whatever. Anyway, it requires a lot of math, which, I mean, do I really want to do that? I don't know. The thing is, too, with being a mechanic, is that there's only about, like, 48, 47 years, something like that, of oil left on Earth. The problem with that is that most cars will be electric in like 10 or 20 years. So how long am I going to have a job that will be sustainable? So really, that's a gray area for me. I don't know what's going to happen then. Because with electric cars, they have like one moving part. Obviously you have like brakes, tires, consumables, but there's really not much for a mechanic to replace because the engine is an electric motor with one moving part. It's not like an actual internal combustion engine where you have a lot of moving parts. While we're on the subject of cars, why don't I talk about my grandma's Chrysler minivan? It's a Chrysler, which means it's absolutely shit. Which means that if you park it, it has a parasitic draw, which if you don't know what a parasitic draw is it means something is drawing power while the car is sitting there turned off. We don't know exactly what it is, but we're going to replace the fuel pump relay. We've already replaced the alternator. I know that while the car's sitting there, you wouldn't think an alternator would do anything, but if alternators, if they can, I forget which part of the alternator, but if a certain part of the alternator does stay on while the car is turned off, it'll literally just suck power out of the battery. So the dealership said that it was an alternator. However, I didn't really trust this because when the car was towed over there, because we actually thought that it was the ignition, because the car, it didn't seem like it was dead. The car was actually freaking the hell out. The car was doing all sorts of weird things, like the dash was flickering, flashing. It was like the whole car was having a seizure and it got AIDS or something. Don't ask me. I don't know what car AIDS are, but yeah, it might have them. Because as it turns out, it looks like we're having quite a hard time figuring out what is really wrong with it, because we've back to where it got towed over to the dealership. It got put up on a flatbed and it was towed over to the dealership. The dealership said it was the battery. And we had just replaced the battery like a week ago because the battery had went dead on it. The dumb thing is they said, oh, those Walmart batteries, they're so bad. Now, it was a Walmart battery, but Walmart batteries aren't bad. And, okay, this is a bit tight through here. I'm gonna watch the trailers. I mean, I've got to watch the trucks near me. And yes, I know I have an avoid sleeping violation, but that's because I don't want to have to go sleep, and I'm basically running a red light right now. Watch my mirrors. Good. Basically at the delivery point. And they said it was the battery, but the thing is, though, is you can't test if a battery's bad if the battery's dead. How do you test a battery if it's dead? You can't test a battery if it's dead. It's like the dealership near where I live, which is in Ohio, well, southern Ohio, is Jeff Weiler, and, well, don't trust them because they're like, oh, it's the battery. And then after we're like, no, it's not the battery, they wanted $700 for an alternator. $700 for an alternator. I don't know what sort of crack you're on if you think you want to charge $700 for an alternator, but it must be some good crack, because that is just, no, that's, I mean, hell, get a $20 alternator and put it on the car. I mean, it might work for some time, but you'll know what's wrong with it. And I mean, it's not like it should be a lot of labor, because the alternator is on the top of the engine. It's right there. And they're like, oh yeah, $700 for an alternator. So we said no, and we just took the car back. because the car would run perfectly fine, because all it did was charging up the battery. It would run perfectly fine as long as you kept driving it, but if you parked it, and then overnight what it would do is it would drain. Okay, looks like I don't see any traffic coming, so I'm going to turn right on red here. So watch the trailer. And I gotta go up hills for a minute. I've gotten so many avoid sleeping violations today. I'm actually gonna move into this lane here. You know, I bet you because this load is so, like, it weighs so little that I can actually take off here in first gear and not low gear. Let's see here. Yeah, it's fine. And also with the car, the alternator, I mean, the radio in the car went bad recently. It was black and then it was flickering and all this stuff. And this happened right before all of the issues with the battery draining happened. So we thought, well, maybe the radio is just, you know, screwing up and it's drawing power while it's sitting there. So you know, you deserve the "You Are a Cunt" song. Anyway, let me continue. God, they are dumb. So we pulled the fuse. Okay, this truck is actually giving me so many issues. Oh god, they are so dumb. But we replaced the fuse for the radio. And the car still drew power. The weird thing is that the car would draw power from the battery when it was sitting there, but it wouldn't, like, do it overnight, every night. It was just occasionally, you know, one night it would do that. And then you better not think you're coming through here. Yeah. And what we're going to be doing soon is taking a voltmeter and seeing if one of the fuses is drawing power, and then we'll know it's somewhere along that system that there is some sort of issue. And I need to park the trailer in right there. So to get the trailer in there, I think I'm actually going to do a tight turn here. And I'm going to lower that rear axle again. And then I'll have a little bit of extra turning. You know, that actually does help. I wouldn't have been able to make that turn if it wasn't for that one little axle there. Okay. Now, without going to the outside camera, I need to get this trailer blinded into place. I mean, it's a good time to start dozing. At least I didn't do it on the highway. Okay, let's just get the trailer oriented. And then I gotta try to look out this mirror here. And that's not gonna go. Okay, here we go. Just gotta see how far we are away from that thing there. I think I'm gonna start turning in now. And yeah, okay, so turn in hard. Oh, I can actually see the trailer a little bit out of that window, and I cannot see it anymore. So, as of just looking out the window here, I think I'm going to pull forward a little bit. Okay, now that I've pulled forward, let's doze again. And now let's take it a little bit harder. Okay, and then once we're pretty much at the point where we're... Okay, now take it around this way. Is this going to be close? I really don't know. Ah. Issues running up the curb. Okay, there we go. There. So, hopefully you liked this episode, and goodbye.